And there's them here. This is Boom Boom, aka World Boom, the Billboard selector. And I represent for Ryan LFC. To get the latest Reggae Boyz content, just hit that like and subscribe button. And the Operation Ball Game, I say, knock it, Ryan.
Good evening, good afternoon, Reggae Boyz fans. Welcome back to the show. My name is Ryan LFC, back again. I need a top shelf video for you guys today. In this video, we're going to talk about Coach Tappa Whitmore and the Football Federation. Also, I have a very good person when it's come on to contract and stuff, when it come on to sports. He research a lot of stuff all the way from London, want to help me out with this video. So make sure you guys stay tuned to bring on my guests on the platform. But people, I hope you guys, I trust that you guys have a wonderful weekend and sky's the limit. And my major goal this year to tell you them in Jamaica to put on the gun and go and look at 95. Put on the violence, stop the shooting in Jamaica. Let us have a 2022 positive in Jamaica. Young man, it's not a good look. Let's put on the gun. We're calling for peace. And also, I'm calling for the government to do more for the inner city community. Give them something to do, especially when kids leave high school with 13 subjects. Provide job opportunity for them. How they're going to get the experience to get the job. Too many times, I remember when I leave high school and I walk in a company with my resume and I said to them I want to work with this company and stuff, and them say, do you have any experience? And I said, no, I'm just leaving school. How the hell I am going to get experience if you don't give me the job? Give me the job and you know that the next job I'm going to have experience. So give the youth them a chance, and you know what I mean, make it more better for people can get job in Jamaica. So that's my plea to the government and the young man. Just put on the gun. Low violence alone, it's not a good look. Whether you're going to go over Horizon, Spanish Town, GP, or you're going to go down a Medarist, Dovecap, Mapen Cemetery, it not worth it, young man. Too many young youth dying in Jamaica at the age of 19, 18. Let's put on the violence. Walk away. Let go for the eager. So big up. That is my message to the people them in Jamaica. Enough love and respect. Big up to everybody who joined in the chat. I have 10 person so far. The number will get bigger and bigger because this is going to be a very good video. And I'm really looking forward to speak to someone from all the way in London. I know him watching now and him can't wait for me to introduce him. But just be a little bit of patient. And the people watching back on the replay, just be a little bit more patient. We're going to talk about Coach Tappa Whitmore and the JFF. And it's going to get hotter and hotter as the week go by, as the day go by, about the situation with the Football Federation, with the JFF. As we said, the JFF don't watch Coach Tappa Whitmore no money. They give him 2 months salary. That's his 2 million Jamaican dollar. But it seems like Coach Tappa Whitmore want 14 million. I don't know. I'm just saying. So I'm going to have somebody going to dive into it and give a proper analysis. But before we go into that, guys, make sure you guys like the video and stuff. Mikel Antonio, want to speak about Mikel Antonio before we make the call to England. Mikel Antonio, coming off a COVID situation, banging a goal. That's very good look for Mikel Antonio to get him confident at the right time coming to that game against Mexico in the World Cup qualifier. Also, I hear that the Football Federation link Kevin Stewart, so it's a possibility if he probably, when I check the football hubs, I saw Kevin Stewart out for like 14 or 15 games, and I don't know if this guy is the thing. So big up to everybody, man. Big up to everybody. Enough respect. I like what I see so far. So let's give a call to the person who's going to discuss this contracting with us and give us a little bit of clarity and stuff. So big up to Talawa TV, big up to Talawa TV. No respect. Okay, I'm not getting through. Mike, I know you're watching this right now, so let's pick up the phone call. You know what I mean? But Kevin Stewart, you say don't call him, make him get maximum fitness back. From I know Kevin Stewart playing for Liverpool, that guy never, ever can keep fit. Always breaking down. And that's one of the biggest disappointment. I would not say disappointment. That would be when a Kevin Stewart don't fall. Cannot keep fit. If you cannot keep fit, you're going to in problem. You're going to in problem. So Kevin Stewart is a very good player, but he just cannot keep fit. Remember, Kevin Stewart played for Liverpool, play Premier League games, play Champions League game, play Europa League game, play FA Cup game, Carabao Cup game, Europa League. This guy has been playing a lot of football right through his career. But unfortunate, he just cannot keep fit at this moment. Now, people, what said you guys? What said you? What said you? What said yous? Remember, guys, I give you the stats and Coach Taylor Whitmore in 2021. Coach Taylor Whitmore, 15 games played for the Reggae Boyz, 3 win, 5 draw, 7 loss. Yeah, 24 points play in the World Cup qualifiers so far. You only get 7 out of 27. That's a big failure, but I'm getting the call back now, so people, let's welcome Mike from the UK, going to give us a little bit more insight and thing. So Mike, welcome man, welcome. Good afternoon, I would say good evening for you at this moment in the UK.
Yes, good evening. It's now 15 minutes past 7 o'clock in the evening. Good morning, good evening, good night, and all of that to people listening around the world. I know the Jamaicans, wherever they listen, wherever they live, they love to listen to anything that connects the brand Jamaica. Wonderful to talk to you on your show. I'm a great admirer of your show. I am a senior citizen, but I thoroughly enjoy listening to you, and I think you're a very knowledgeable young man that you know what you're saying, and it's just marvelous. You really represent brand Jamaica well.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. And thank you to be a big fan of the Ryan LFC show, man. I don't know what get you hooked to the show, but I don't know what get you hooked to the show.
I think it's you primarily. I mean, I used to be involved with Mali and Malo, who fought the Attorney General when we were doing the diaspora show. I've been involved with Dear Pastor, involved with Ronnie Twait. So it's customary. I go to Barbados. I'm on the Voice of Barbados radio station. So I do this. It's a hobby because I'm a retired man, and I love it. And I was just scanning one day and saw you, and there are lots of other people doing it, but you just captured me.
Oh
You're
yeah.
probably young enough to be my grandson.
Yes.
Yes, I believe so. But it's a marvel. You're doing very, very well, and I think it's only a matter of time before this thing is going to get even bigger because you're quite informative, especially about the Reggae Boyz, and I for one support that. I remember greatly 1998 when we got to the World Cup, and I remember running outside and knocking the pots when the goals were going in. So we support the whole thing, and my son played for the Reggae Boyz on one occasion on the Carl Brown. And I'm grateful to Carl Brown for giving him the break he did. I didn't know the man, but because my son had come through the ranks at Tottenham between the age of 11 until the age of 18. He played alongside Ledley King and Peter Crouch, a very tall guy. They said he should have been a basketball player. So he was in that same squad of 22 players with them. But Tottenham released him just before his 18th birthday and didn't offer him a professional contract. Thereafter, they had a friendly game not too long before the season closed against Arsenal. And he was playing in a friendly with them. And Arsene Wenger was watching. Leon Brady, you know the great Leon Brady, Irish player, amazing, left footer. My son's a left footer. And he saw him and he pulled him and called him. And then eventually I get a phone call saying, we're interested in your son. I don't know how we missed him. And you got to remember at that time, they had a left-sided player already at Arsenal, which was Ashley Cole. So my son thought it was a joke. He says, how can I get in front of Ashley Cole? He's a Don, but they're very clever, you see, and they were trying to break Ashley Cole into the first team. So the under-19s and the reserve team needed a left-sided player. And so that's how my son got an input.
So,
he hated it.
So for for a little bit of clarity for the listener, what's your son's name and which year make him debut for the Reggae Boyz under Coach Calbro?
You know, you got me there on the date. I can't remember the exact date, but his name is actually Narada, Narada. And I just can't remember the year, but it was one of those games where they played with the Irish one. It was called the, I forget what they called it, but Ireland played, Jamaica played, and there was one other side, and they would come on tour.
Yeah.
Jamaica would come up to England on tour, and they'll play 3 games or so. Queen's Park Rangers, one of the first places Jamaica ever played, and they said they had never seen the stadium so packed before.
Yeah.
At one point, they wanted to play Jamaica at Wembley Stadium, which takes 100,000, and they were going to play against England, but for some reason it got cancelled.
Okay.
But yes, it was a friendly, but I'm still grateful. He got himself a cap, and he was always recognized for that. But he was also injured. You know, he's quite injury prone, and that's what stopped his career sooner rather than later. But he always said to me, you know, the boys are really talented because he stayed in the hotel with them. They trained twice a day when they were on tour, one in the morning and one in the evening. And my son always said they're really talented players, Dad, because you've got to remember, up here you're privileged. You've got football pitches like it's like a billiard table, smooth and level and so green. I know it's not so easy in Jamaica. It's not so easy, and the pitches are not so, you know, like the ones in the UK and Europe. But he said the one thing he found difficult was in discipline. Like if they're meant to go to bed at 9, 11 o'clock, they'd still be up talking to their friends and that. In England, it's really strict. You know, you just don't dictate. I've seen a player just get thrown out of a team at the Arsenal, never played a game, just because he took off his shirt and threw it at the manager. Never played a game. There's no friendly thing up here. It's hard. People don't realize how hard it is for the Caribbean players up here.
Yeah.
We're now competing against the African player. He's stronger, tougher, like Drogba. The Caribbean young boy doesn't appear to be as strong. You know, Wrighty was good. Barnsley was good. And there are many. England is just absolutely jam-packed with offsprings from Jamaicans who could play for Jamaica. When the last World Cup, when we got to in the last 4, at least half of the team were Jamaican kids from Jamaican parents, mom Jamaican or father Jamaican. So there's a lot of talent here. And the other thing I should say is that when you're actually training at the football club from the age of 11 going upwards, it gets serious from about age 14 to age 18. They tell you straight. You go into the classes because you have classroom training as well and tactics and so on. And they would tell you, you better be prepared and have an open mind that you could and should think about playing for your mother's country or your father's country. because they know not all of them can make it into the England side. And even if a squad of 22, they only want one player. If they get two, great. But the rest are just there to make up the 11. But if they see one star, he can't play on his own. He needs the other 10 people around him so that he can shine. And if they get that from a young, there's 5-year-olds going to football. Beckham's son, I mean, I've got Jamaican friends who've got their sons at 7, 8. And they're with West Ham. No word of a lie, banging in 40 goals. So it's a great future, but we've got to learn to work together. No word of a lie, banging in 40 goals.
Yeah. So, are you hearing me, Mike?
I'm hearing you, sir. I'm hearing you.
Okay. So, great introduction, but you know, we come here to talk about Coach Theodore Whitmore, contract and stuff. So, could you tell, because you see Theodore Whitmore play and as a coach, could you give us a look inside what you think about Coach Theodore Whitmore as a player and as a coach?
He was obviously a great player. You know, they said he's so skillful he could keep the ball up without even looking at it sometime, you know, sideways. He didn't play in the highest league, you know, it was more like in Division 2. We have the Premier, and he's about 4 divisions under the Premier. And you tend to find in England, the lower down you go, the more long balls are played. When you're in Arsenal, Tottenham, Man U, and clubs like that, you are taught one touch and pass. Sometimes they spend 1.5 hours just doing that at the age of 8, 9. And to give you a classic example, when my son arrived at Arsenal to play, and they gave him a 1-year contract, the first thing Leon Brady said to him, "This is not Tottenham. We don't play long balls." Can you imagine that? Arsenal and Tottenham in the same division, but Brady was a player. He keeps it on the ground, and they didn't like the long balls. Whereas the coaching that my son had been receiving with Tottenham in his early years, they didn't mind that. But in Arsenal, it was close marking and just one touch and pass, and you just dribble your way through, pass your way through till you actually almost get to the goal and even go around. I haven't seen anybody do it for a long time other than Georgie Best. He was a great player as well. He'd go around the goalie to score, never shot from outside of the box. So yes, there's this big difference between the way maybe Coach Theodore Whitmore had been trained in the UK in comparison to the Premier League players. I believe so. But as a player, he was amazing. And many players come from the lower divisions. And if the quicker they can get into the top division, the better. Look at Jamie Vardy from a low division. Lots of them. Antonio, he wasn't scouted at age 11 by any big club. But look at him now. If he wasn't playing for Jamaica, England would call him up. So Jamaica is very lucky to have such a great player, but they've just got to learn to work together and unite. So coming back to the question of Theodore Whitmore now, as a manager, he's clearly good and he's been going long enough. He's been there, he's done it. You can't knock it. He's done it. He's played in the World Cup. And that's how one gets better, by having mentors from the past to help you. Boris Becker trains other tennis players so that they can become great tennis players. So what Whitmore brings to the Reggae Boyz, you can't buy that. But I also believe that maybe some assistance from Europe, you know, to get to grips with the European way. Because I think Jamaica tends to play more the old style of the Brazilian. But now even Brazil don't play the Brazilian way hardly anymore, because the majority of their players are in Europe. So they tend to play the European style, but they're great footballers. Whereas I think also with Jamaica, they're very, very prone for Argentina and Brazil. But they need to get to grips with the European way, and that's the only way. It's great just getting to the World Cup, but are we going to get out of the group? Can we get out of the group? This is the big question. We shouldn't be going there just for the ride. We must be going there to really do some damage. Let Jamaica play Japan now and see how tough they would find it. Whereas in 898, they beat them off the park. You know, Jamaica.
So Mike,
Mhm.
some another question to you, because you were saying Jamaica the team need to play like a European based team. Our interim manager now has been playing in Europe for a long time now. Have the experience getting coaches badge in Ireland or where him getting coaches job? Wales. Do you think where you think Parallel? You think Parallel can bring that to the team now?
Um, yes, he can, but I think what a couple of things that surprised me there. Usually, when a senior coach gets dismissed in the UK, all his backroom staff also gets dismissed. So his assistants gets dismissed. You know, the orange peeler gets dismissed because usually like eat oranges or cold drinks, and so everybody gets dismissed, and they bring in a whole new team with a new manager. The new manager brings in his team. So the fact that Theodore Whitmore is gone now, maybe the regime is still the same under Paul Hall because that was his example and his mentor. That's who he was working with. So maybe they will play in a similar way. Not saying you shouldn't do it, but only time will tell whether or not you can get there and whether or not he can bring them to another level. Solskjaer at Man U, 3 years or so in the job. Great player, but he found the job too big,
Yeah.
too big. You
So
win some.
so in your case and your example where you're making, you're saying the job is too big for Coach Theodore Whitmore, and you said about Paul
No,
Hall, you should have
I'm,
removed if you're going to
I'm not saying
remove.
I'm not suggesting it's too big, but look, Mourinho went to Man U and he couldn't manage it. One of the greatest managers. You see, the point I'm making is that sometimes it doesn't always work out for you. In fact, I have an article which I will forward to you eventually, where it says dismissing a manager is pointless, waste of time. Some people stick with the same manager and then a change comes about. And it's not usually just the manager that brings the change, it's the entire unit that decides to change. Everybody works together like brothers. Fergie used to get his boys together and say, I think one day he gave an example, some birds flying over their head, and he looked up and he said to them while they're on the pitch, he said, you see those birds up there? And they were flying in unison and just like brothers and sisters. And he was making or giving them an example and making a point to them to say, that's how you've got to be. He's one of the few managers that took a young team and did so well. So many great players came from that Beckham area and Scholes and people because they grew up together and they loved each other like brothers. The division you're seeing in the Jamaican side can't be healthy. I don't like you because you were born in England. I know your grandfather is Jamaican, but no, I want my friend from down Waterhouse to play. That's madness. That has to change. If I was a player, I would want to go and play if I felt unwelcome. So I think it's not that the job is too big for either of them. We're going to have to see. But I do believe you need better pitches, better, higher standard of coaching. For instance, I was watching Theodore Whitmore today, and he said about one of the players or one of the interviewers asked him a question. He said, I counted how many times this boy passed long balls, and it was like 13 long balls. And he said, look, it's not, so Theodore Whitmore said, it's not that they don't know. And I, as a midfield player, they know this. And we coach them and teach them this. But the point is, you shouldn't have a player dictating and letting his view come above your view as the manager. Because eventually, you're going to be the one who's going to suffer. It is easier to get rid of a manager than to get rid of 11 players. cheaper and easier. So I didn't quite accept that. I respect the man to the max. However, you've got to set the standard as the manager. You've got to lay down the law. Who doesn't want to toe with it? Be rid of them. But I understand some of the politics that goes on in third world countries and, you know, some of the uncomfortable thing. I don't really want to touch on it too much because I do believe one should never go on national radio or TV and YouTube and discredit one's own. That can't help. So if you just read between the lines of what I'm saying without me being too explicit.
Okay. So, all right, let's move on. So, last thing before we go into the coach Theodore Whitmore thing. Do you believe Jamaican coach get the respect when an overseas manager come? Do you think the Jamaican coach get the respect where they supposed to deserve?
So are you talking about an assistant coach then? Because if an overseas manager comes, what will happen to the... Are you talking about in the same club? And would that manager respect...
No, I'm talking about Jamaica national team. Would you want to see an overseas coach, not from Jamaica, coaching the team? Do you think him get more respect than the local coach?
I think so.
Why you think so?
We have an attitude that I don't know why. My family has been here now for 4 generations. 4 generations. My father married here in 1957. And I see the same attitude that they have in Jamaica, Barbados, or Trinidad, wherever. We have the same attitude 4 generations later here. You kill, or the people in Jamaica kill with guns. Up here, they kill with knives. So the respect, I find that if you had somebody from Europe, he's going to be quite rigid, and he won't be easily swayed by the culture and the people. Whether or not he'll last is another thing. But I think if you had somebody like that, they tend to be less confrontational. If they had Johnny Barnes, they're going to be confrontational with Johnny Barnes. If they bring Ian Wright, they're going to do the same. The two of them together, I feel that I don't know what it is, Ryan. We seem to get more respect from others than sometimes our own. It seems that way to me. That's what life experience has taught me. It's not that the overseas managers greater. Arsene Wenger played mainly non-league football. But look how great he turned out to be. So why can't Theodore Whitmore and others turn out to be the same? Sometimes you have to go to other pastures green, make your name. They never liked Bob Marley in the beginning. I came from the music business. They never really liked him in Jamaica that much. But once he blew up, everybody wants a piece of it. Everybody loves him. Everybody owns him. It's just one of those things. But we have to try and address that, though, and get on like a family, because we cry inside together. We all eat, we still eat, the same things after 4 generations. Stewed peas and rice, ackee and saltfish, run down. We know my grandchildren can make ackee and saltfish because we don't let it go. We make them hold on to the culture. But still, it's not quite right yet, I pray and hope I may live to see bigger changes. But all I can do is just make my own contribution to my own family, and hopefully they go out and make a contribution, and the whole thing gets better and better and better. I think it will get better.
Okay, fair enough. So, all right, let's move on. The situation with Coach Theodore Whitmore and the Football Federation, where they dismiss him. Do you see a case here on Coach Theodore Whitmore's side?
Well, before we go to that, something concerns me, Ryan, really concerns me. And I pride myself in legal research. I have 2 undergraduate degrees, one being a law degree. I research for barristers and judges, and I do a lot of that. But I'm now retired. But that's what I made my living and paid my bills from for a number of years. I'm no expert sports footballer. I'm no expert employment lawyer. And I mentioned those two limbs of law because they both involve or would be involved in what is likely to happen with Theodore Whitmore if a case or a proceeding takes place. But one of the things I noticed, the first thing I did was try to find in the Jamaican papers. I know I'm based here, but the world is small now with the internet. And I tried to find where they discussed that he was about to sue the JFF. And I couldn't find that, right? I couldn't find it at all anywhere. So that concerns me a little. It concerns me because all we can say at this moment, you and I spoke off here, so I understand where it comes from, is that it is alleged that he might sue them. But it's not a definite decision. I will and I'm going to. I haven't seen one newspaper article, media, nothing saying that. However, having your show is the one that alerted me to it. So it made me go into it and research more and find out a bit more about it. And I can honestly say, if Theodore Whitmore's lawyers decide, and he decides that he is going to challenge this dismissal, yes, he can. He can challenge it by saying, I was unfairly dismissed. And I want compensation. In England, it's a big thing. When one gets unfair dismissal, they cap it in England to about nearly 90,000. In other words, no matter if you were on 5 million, the most you're going to get compensated for compensation is the 90,000, sorry, English pounds I'm talking about, English pounds. But where you get the big money is when you do a breach of contract. So Theodore might be thinking, his lawyers might be thinking, we can go for unfair dismissal or we can go for a breach of contract. I had a 5-year contract with them and they dismissed me in my last year. So I say that's unfair. And who's to say I wasn't going to be here for another 5 years? And so that's how the money then multiplied. He was on $1 million per month. In England, they give you the lowest, either the 90, they won't give you the exact money. People like to say Mourinho as an example. He was on 10 million a year and he got big money because he's dealing with, this is England, it's different. He's dealing with Abramovich, a billionaire in English pounds, billionaire. And so sometimes a club will decide, I don't want all of the backlash. I don't want the negative press about Chelsea and all of that. So I'd rather just pay off Mourinho and let him be on his way. So some managers, some owners, club owners, take that decision, a commercial decision, to pay you off and get rid of you, and there's no problem. But the average one lower down the league, they probably get nothing. But the answer to your question, yes, it's very possible that Theodore has a case and could argue that. On the other hand, the JFF could easily argue and say, well, within the contract, it said 2 months. Again, I haven't seen this written anywhere, just what I've heard on your show. We pay you 2 months' pay and you be on your way, and that's the end of that. If that is the contract, there's nothing to stop a barrister and a judge debating over that and saying, Judge, I'm going by this contract. That's what the arrangement was from the beginning, and he knew this. So we've honored that, and he should not be entitled to anything else. So although it's football, two things come into play. Employment law. If you got sacked from your job where you live in Canada, you can take your boss to court. Just the same like any footballer. You're an employee. So employment law comes into it. Did you sack them fairly? It might not even just be the sacking. Just saying, don't get off the premises and you're gone. It could be how they even follow the procedures. Did they have disciplinary hearing? Was everything, all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted? And even if you fail to do that, somebody could win a case against a club for not following the procedures. So I think both of them have got a case there, it seems to me. And we're not sure until it happens. Hopefully we'll hear soon whether or not he is going to do that. But also I would say from my research and understanding, most managers and most clubs prefer to take the money rather than go to court. And that's what the court wants anyway. They call it mediation. Let's talk. You want 10 million? I'm prepared to give you 7 million. You want to go to court? You may lose. You may win. And then you're going to pay all the lawyers. And then we're going to appeal it. And then you're going to lose some of the money that we give you. And it's going to take 10 years then instead of 5 years. So some people say, give me the 7 million. I'd rather take that and go. And some clubs prefer that. Imagine trying to sue Newcastle with the billions they've got, 300 billion. I mean, it's just hard to even write it down. If the person's on 10 million, you give them 15 and say, just go. And let's find another manager and let's start again. So in answer to your question, I believe both parties may have a strong case. But until we hear Ryan, whether or not he really is going to do it, I feel Ryan LFC and your associate should step careful, walk careful through this, because you don't want any backlash. Because we're not sure. Somebody has made it leaked, but we're not sure. It might say, well, this is rubbish. I never did that. I never said that. And you're hurting my feelings. You're making me feel terrible, as if I'm a scrounger and I wanted to sue you. And I love the JFA. Somebody could take out a case against you like that. You know what I mean? So I think one needs to just be a bit careful. And that's all through law. One must step careful at all times and think of the cost, because it can cost you more than what you think you're going to get.
Okay.
So that's my take on it, and that's how I see it here in the UK, and that's what the researchers said. I've sent you some documents; you can see it for yourself. And I'd say this to your viewers: everything I've said here is 100% accurate, if not 99.9. And I suggest one of the things you can do, and that's where I feel I would like to be involved with your station, is to tell people that they can go and look up some of this stuff for themselves. The world is small now. You can just start off by looking on Google, and you will see so much there.
Sometimes Google not get the right information.
I know. So if you want more detailed information, then you must go to the law library. In England, we have 4 law libraries in the entire country. Every judge and every barrister must be assigned to one of them. Gray's Inn, Lincoln's Inn, Middle Temple, and Inner Temple. And the libraries are 400 years old. You go in there and you go in the cellar. You got to put on gloves sometimes to turn the pages, as well as the most up-to-date 2021. They probably won't have the 22 book out quite as yet, but almost there. So I agree with you, but at least you can get an insight.
And if it not in the library, that means it's not a part of the law.
Well, what you see, most cases, I would say more than 70% of cases can be won if you do proper research. I know this for a fact. A judge has given me some research and say, Mike, I need this by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And he gives it to me at 5 in the evening. And I can't go to bed because I've got to find out. Because the judge, you see them reeling things off the top of their heads. They're not genius. Somebody has helped them and provided that to them. When you see a barrister there doing his work, he does some of it. But most barristers, especially QCs, they have a junior who helps and does the research. Judges don't go to the library. They have no time for that. You've got to just read and analyze. So it's not sometimes if it's not in the library, it means it has never been decided upon yet. That is a real possibility. You search out for 10 hours a day for 7 days and you cannot find one thing on this area. I recently did some research for a QC. And when I presented it to him, he said to me, I mean, this man is nearly 80s. And he's working on a case for a Jamaican community here who's fighting over a piece of land. And he said to me, he sent me an email. I'm going to frame it because he's one of the top authorities in that area of law, trust law. And he said, I've never heard of this case before. Never knew it even existed. Thank you, Mike. Well, that made me feel good. I didn't want pay. That was enough pay. Because I was helping my community. Voluntary work. No money. Just voluntary. Helping them. And then they were able to take it to him so that he can use some of it. He did his own work as well, mind you. But he found that really useful. And if a man of that caliber don't know, it just proves to me, when last did he go to the library and he can't know everything in his head? So it took a younger man like me to bring it forth and say, have a look at this. This might be useful, might be helpful. So that's the way law works. So all this Theodore Whitmore thing is going to be based on the law. I hear some of your viewers say, like, he should just take the money and go, and that's it. He's got his 2 million. What does he want? But often it's the lawyers that say, you got a case here because they're on a percentage, maybe on a no-win, no-fee.
So, Mike,
or make a big money.
here's this question. I'm looking at this where Whitmore probably feel unfairly dismissed, where when the technical director or the board went into the meeting to decide if I'm going to keep him job, they're going to vote. So that vote go, 5 people vote Coach Theodore Whitmore out, and then the next 2 vote for him to keep the coaching job, right?
Mm-hmm.
That information leaked out where it like up for like 2 weeks, and people say Coach Whitmore fire, and then the president come out and said, oh, Coach Whitmore still is a job. The technical director, they still finalize and stuff. Where it was going on like for 2 weeks. And if I were in Coach Theodore Whitmore's shoes, I would feel bad for know that the news break, the technical director going to a meeting and have the discussion, and the vote come out that they vote out Coach Theodore Whitmore. And it out in the media. All over on social media that Coach Whitmore get fired. Me, myself, was online and speaking to someone from the Football Federation, and they said, listen, Theodore Whitmore get fired. Is it a case where Whitmore feel unjust that he go for so long, he looking at that and saying him unfair cheat, they cheat him bad?
Yeah, you raise a really great point. Now, in English, Jamaican law is based on English law. You have some little small differences, but it's largely based on English law because we're all part of the Commonwealth. Now, if the same thing happened in England, a good lawyer or a good barrister, because you see, there's a big distinction. You call them attorneys in Jamaica, I believe, or lawyers. You have a man who will take your witness statement, a man who will call you on the phone, he'll write to you, well, your wife wants the car and she wants the cats and all of this, and you can have she wants 75% of the house, and she offered that you must only take 25%. Now, a good barrister is the one who knows the law, not the lawyer. The lawyer just facilitate the barrister and accumulate all the evidence and everything together, give it to him, he analyzes it and presents it to the judge. And if he's persuasive enough, he would win. Now, the question you put there, in England, we have a thing called injury to feelings. If I were doing that and Coach Theodore Whitmore said that, automatically, I wouldn't ask him to get angry or pick up the phone and be cursing anyone out or anything like that. Just leave it. And what you do, you put a claim in for injury to your feeling. I felt suicidal. I'm not joking about this. It ranges between 1,000 and I think 10,000. And then the next band is 10,000 to 20,000 and then 20,000 up to 40,000. So you can get a portion of money because you feel so bad the way somebody has treated you. And they call it injury to feeling. So you see, rather than fight and get antagonistic and all kinds, it's better deal with it in law and you make a money and say, you see, what you did to me, you hurt me so bad, I'm going to get some money. You think twice about doing it again. So that's the answer to your question. It is possible that he could actually claim that and say, I can't even walk the streets now. I feel so terrible.
Yeah, the reason why, Mike, the reason why I bring that question to you, you know, right? I bring that question to you because I'm not gonna lie. Although me break the news and say Coach Theodore Whitmore get fired, right?
Yeah.
I feel a way if you know say it if me are the coach or I am looking on the outside now, I'm speaking. I feel a way for no say, yo, the thing I go for like 2 weeks and the JFF didn't come out and say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they do come out, he's saying Coach Theodore Whitmore don't get fired. Coach Theodore Whitmore is the head coach. We're going into our next meeting. And that meeting went on. I'm still asking. That meeting went on for another week again. Yeah? And I'm saying, Man United going into a meeting, they spend 5 hours in the meeting and they come to an agreement and say, Coach, Alugona Social no longer the man. It wasn't speculation in England. They go in and they come out back, bam. But the football Federation, it was out there like for 2.5 weeks. And by listen to someone from the Football Federation again, people, it wasn't easy to get rid of Coach Theodore Whitmore. It wasn't easy. It was a very, very hard. It have got through so much people for Coach Whitmore removed from the post. Mike.
And that shouldn't happen. I want to ask you a question before I give you an answer properly. Are you feeling in any way sad that you were the first to break the news?
If I feel sad, nah,
Yeah.
I'm not feel sad. I do my job.
Right.
I'm doing my job.
It happened.
And I know many people, Coach Theodore Whitmore family, them reach out and say, I am doing make Coach Whitmore lose his job. Mm-hmm. That's not true. I don't have no part in Coach Theodore Whitmore doing his job. I base in Coach Whitmore and him 5 years as the Reggae Boyz coach. Yeah, 5 years. And plus, before that, Coach Whitmore has been around the Reggae Boyz team from 2006, 2007. And when I look at this team, remember, Coach Whitmore used 98 players, you know. And when I do my research, you know, Mark, across the world, most teams use 35 players, 31, 32 players. But yet still, that has shown me that Coach Whitmore used 98 players. He don't know him play them. And it kind of, me play at a level, me know good coach Mark, and me just believe that he wasn't doing a good job. He wasn't doing a good job. And the stats can show you that.
Yeah, I don't doubt you, and you're very much on top of it, and I could see that. I've learned all of it about this case from yourself and from your show. I think what is important, though, is just the right timing. It happens in England all the time. Sometimes you meet somebody in a bar and you give the Telegraph or the Mirror some secret information and they publish it tomorrow. However, within 24 hours, 48 hours, it gets officially published because it's going to sell newspapers. when it longs out for a while, you know, and just stay there, and we don't know what's really happening, it can be, you don't know where they're going to come with this. You don't know. And so I think timing would be my advice to you. What you did was fine, but timing, because by now somebody in the media world should have talked about this and exposed it officially. That's the way they're going to see it. They're going to see the Gleaner as more official than Ryan LFC. But somebody should have done this, because if it's coming out already and people are leaking it out of the JFF, then they should call their media team together and say, look, this is what's on the street. Maybe we should just clear this up. I think something like that should happen, but they seem to work with different rules, you know. Sometimes I don't understand my own.
So Mike, what you're saying, it should have break on TVJ, but I think TVJ break it too. I think the same time, I think TVJ break it before me. I think so. I'm not sure. I'm not remember.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good to hear that. But I was saying, when I tried to find anything on this, especially in the press, written information.
Yeah, but
I didn't find.
But remember this, you know, Mark. Remember this too, you know. YouTube right now, I would say, in Jamaican media, no disrespect to the Jamaican media outlet them, but I think the YouTuber them has done a great job. This coverage, the Reggae Boyz, I don't think the Jamaican media ever do this, and the coverage of Jamaican football and the Reggae Boyz. So we getting the information here out on YouTube. It's credible. You understand? And we getting the right information, and we search, and we dig, and if we don't find it, we'll go back again and we dig until we get the information out there to the people.
No doubt, and that's why people find your program and your YouTube channel so interesting. Everybody wants to hear things before everyone else, you know? It's just one of those things. So I think it's okay, but I'm surprised though that they haven't blown it up in a bigger way. Maybe they're having second thoughts, you know, as you can see from the documents.
Mike, it's coming. It's getting at behind the scene. It's Mark. It coming, and Neo Sovereign, one of the commenter them, put up a very, very, very critical comment. And Neo, I don't know where you get that piece of tool we have up on the comment section, but 2 months notifies if Coach Theodore Whitmore get a better opportunity to go to England, a better job like a Cayman, where Cayman want Coach Theodore Whitmore to be the head coach of the Cayman national team. And for example, Cayman come in and giving Coach Theodore Whitmore a better salary. He can give the Football Federation 2 month notice and he will be fine. Same thing both way and same side. That's all the contract written. That's all the contract written, where Theodore Whitmore give the JFF 2 months notice and the JFF could give him 2 months notice.
It would be interesting, though, eventually to see what the contract really says. Because I doubt you've got a copy of the contract yet.
If me have a piece of a copy of the contract, you're asking me if me have a copy of a piece of the contract?
No, I said something worse than that. I said I doubt whether you do have it.
Okay.
I doubt it. So until you actually see it, it's hard. And it's not a great idea to speculate too deep, because no one knows. But even when you get a contract, there's things known as unfair contract terms. A person may see it written like that. You give me 2 months and you can sack me, and that's a great barrister can tear that apart and say this is unfair. This should never have happened.
Yeah.
You know, we have legislation here and laws, you know. And one of the things that we have that protect people is an act called the Employment Rights Act, done in 1996. And it says an employer has the right not to be unfairly dismissed. So we have it written in stone. Parliament wrote that. You can't unfairly dismiss people and just get away with it. So they will analyze that contract to see, was he really unfairly dismissed, and look at the evidence of how he was, like they should have, I'm sure they would have. One must think that after 5 years, they would have given him a chance to improve and better himself and improve the team and get things working. Maybe they've broken down in the changing room.
Last confident.
No more respect, yeah.
Last confident
and until we know those things, and you see, and this could be what these lawyers are looking at, do we have a case? And
but Mike, do we going to ever know if Coach Theodore Whitmore lost the dressing room or not? Because I hear that in England, Coach lost the dressing room, but we never hear that concrete from the coach on a show yet. Yeah, Jose Mourinho get invite to the Sky Sports and they talk about that. Arsene Wenger, we never hear they come out and say that.
Because they don't wash the dirty laundry up here so badly. What they tend to do is just simply say, we're falling apart or we have parted by mutual agreement. That's a typical phrase in England.
Okay. Hey.
Parties have parted on mutual agreement, but that is just to quash it so that you don't get, if you're arguing with your wife indoors or your sister and brothers indoors, you don't go out to the neighbors and walk up and down to the local grocery store and tell everybody, you know, I had an argument with Betty this morning, I had an argument with Paul, and tell them everything. You don't. You keep it to yourself. So that's how they tend to work. Protect the club and the interests of the club and just pay the person and be rid of them, and they be on their way and they get what they want as well. So that's why you don't hear it a lot. A lot of people don't, you know, Mourinho, all those, you know, and they're big clubs, lots of money. They just behave themselves, club paid him off, and he's on his way. But who knows? Maybe they could have been fighting like cats and dogs. But we will never know. And sometimes they make you sign a confidentiality clause, a letter to say you will never discuss this. Now imagine you go and do that against Abramovich. He would sue your mom, your dead grandmother, everybody. So people just abide by it. I think they need to step up the game a little in the Caribbean and start to realize that we have to improve and start to work at higher standards, you know? We need to. It can't carry on the way it was 50 years ago or 90 years ago. It's time for a change. It's time for a change and make things more workable. So my view is, when you would hear this, if it did go to court, wow, you would hear things, you know, and you can, in some instances, criminal cases, anyone can go, but not in all civil cases, but you could actually go and listen sometimes. Family cases in England, they don't like you going into a family case, but you can listen to some civil cases. But criminal cases, anybody can walk off the street. They search you, no, you've got no knives, no guns, all of that, and you just sit in the gallery and listen to the murder case or listen to the drug trafficking case, whatever. And no one can stop you because that's the way that the system works here.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Yeah, you still here, Mark?
Yes, I'm still hearing you, brother. I'm still hearing
What amazing after that Man United sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You see that press conference?
Remind me.
The other day Man United fire Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yes.
And he do a press conference with the club. With the club.
Yes. Oh yeah, yes. And he was quite
that's the first time that ever happened.
Yeah. Yeah, he showed nothing but love to the club even after all of that. But then he is a son of Alex Ferguson. He's a son of Man U. You know, he's part of the family. So he never was going to go out and say anything horrible. Yeah. Never. Because it is like his life. It's like it would be like talking against his own father. and his own family, because that's how they see it, Football in England is bigger than religion. No word of a lie. You, on an average Premier thing, 40 upwards up to, 90,000, 80,000. That's the kind of figures you're getting. A little common game, Sunday league, you get 300 people. So people go out, especially when a match is on, they go to the pub, you call them bars in Jamaica. I'm sure in Canada they probably call them pubs as well. But you sit there and you get your table and your chair. Sometimes they book it 2 days in advance. And you have your little space and you're going with your T-shirt and it's like you're going to a concert. They take it serious, brother. They really take it. It was a poor man's game, but it's no longer a poor man's game.
But here's another interested question. I think you would like this.
Yes.
What if the Football Federation leaking this information that Coach Theodore Whitmore write a letter to them? Elijah write a letter to them, right? And the Football Federation say, okay, here what we're going to do. We're going to leak to the media and make Coach Theodore Whitmore look bad, or put pressure on Coach Theodore Whitmore where, okay, I'm not going to bother Sudi. What you feel about that? What you think about that? Like public pressure come on Coach Theodore Whitmore.
So what are you saying, that what if the JFF leaked a letter that came from Theodore's lawyers?
Yeah.
My personal view is I don't think such a thing would happen, because who's it going to benefit? You can't, he's only a man. He's not an organization. He's just a man. Ordinary.
Yeah, but what if they don't want to, what if they're using that to put pressure on Coach Theodore Whitmore and they don't want to pay the money? I'm just saying, I'm just asking you a question.
My view, I still stand in that same position that I don't think it would happen like that, but it does seem from what you had said on your program a few days ago that they are of the view that they've paid him the 2 months and they're not going to pay anymore. And that's how they feel now. But it could turn around where if Theodore's lawyers feel he's got a really strong case and everybody can sit back and think, how is this going to affect the Jamaica Football Federation? How is this going to affect Jamaica? How is it going to affect the club? If they really sit and think of it, they might decide, let's just give this man some compensation. Let's go into a negotiation. Maybe he doesn't get a year. And they'll just pay him something and they quash it. Because that's the best way to deal with this. Not to go into the papers and not to go to court. In my humble opinion, that's the way to deal with it. No one is going to benefit. They could give Theodore 20 million. It ain't going to help. It really isn't. It can damage Jamaica football more.
Yeah.
Than you fighting this fight all the time like this. Yeah. It's just not worth it. I think they should try to come to the table and work out something.
Yeah. What about Winford Schaefer sued the JFF a couple years ago and get fee money?
I heard this. Again, you and I are talking without seeing any evidence. We just hear that he did. We don't even know exactly. Maybe his contract was different to Theodore.
Yeah,
everyone's different.
The person who are telling me that they made a mistake, the Football Federation made a mistake, and they're not going to make a second mistake like that, where that mistake they make with Winford Schaefer, that's what make they have to pay back a lot of they in a lot of debt and stuff. I don't know if they're still paying Winford Schaefer, but it were a lot of money they're still paying Winford Schaefer. This contract with Coach Theodore Whitmore, they decide, say, listen, they might do everything in for them power. If they do anything, they don't go back in that debt. So these are some of the talk. These are some of the things I get told behind the scene.
and maybe it might be a learning curve to them all because that first contract, what's his name? Winford
Schaefer, the former manager.
Schaefer. Yeah, when he got paid out his money, it could have been a totally different agreement. And in many ways, do you know whether they went to court and because I don't know the case, by the way.
No, I know.
Did he take it to court?
No, but the person who from the JFF said him Winford Schaefer. This is why they said Tappa doing this pandemic.
Yeah, but my question is, when he got his payout, Winford, did he have to win it in court or did they just pay to squash everything?
I don't know. I don't know if there's squash or thing, but I will get back. We'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. You see, because my point is, if they just paid him and said, look, let's just give this man this money and over, it meant that they would have learned something. That they may have been in the wrong and couldn't see, and their lawyers may have told them, you've got a more chance of losing than winning at court. So let's pay him off. Maybe in theory, if we find out that he's going to sue them, maybe in his case, they may say, well, you've got no hope in hell.
Okay.
Winning this. They may say that.
So
and then the JFA would stick their head in the ground and just say, well, we're not shifting then. But we've been advised that we can't lose this. We went by the contract and we've seen it and we've had 3-4 different opinions. And it tells us that if we go to court, we can't do that. Then put pressures on Theodore.
So
and everybody would still have to come to the table.
Here's some clarity now. You listen to me, Ma?
Yes.
The Football Federation went to Mike. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Mike. The Football Federation went that same suiting with Winford Schaefer. The Football Federation went to the FIFA, and then Winford lose the case. He lost the case.
Okay. After they had, I'm a bit confused. So they had started paying him out, and then it went on appeal, really going to the Football Federation. I wasn't quite sure what you're saying.
You're breaking up a little bit. Now hearing you.
Yeah. Are you saying that Winford, lost the case, or did he win the case?
He lost the case.
So how come he got...
Oh, no, not Schaefer. Not Schaefer.
Okay.
Oh, sorry about that, Mike. Getting a little bit distractive a while. I got bad. So, yeah.
I'm listening.
Just a second. Okay, go ahead now, Mike.
No, I was listening to what the point you were making before I can give an answer.
No, I said not Winford Schaefer. Not Winford Schaefer.
So who lost the case?
So just a second then, may I get some clarity.
Okay.
Oh. I'm getting some clarity. So let's move on a little bit. And then we'll get back to some more information.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're still communicating with someone else?
Yeah. But yo, my way told me get the full case. So
you're well connected, huh? You can get it so live.
So cause you don't know, we don't want to bring no false information. So So may I get it? Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, Mike.
Yes.
So what we're saying about the Winford Schaefer, it wasn't the I made a mistake about the Winford Schaefer. So we get some clarity upon that. So yeah. So what you saying? Wait, so what you saying Mike about Whitmore? So you're saying it can have a case from both sides. So we just have to just wait.
Definitely. That would be my assessment of the problem. Both parties may have a case, but we don't know because we haven't had any written documentation, seen anybody. We haven't seen any arguments. We're just working on hearsay at the moment, and
Okay.
that can be dangerous. But if what you're saying, it does appear to me as if I were he, and I felt I was unfairly dismissed, I can deal with it. He may not get a lot of money. I mean, I worked out he wasn't a large salary that he was on anyway, but he could do a breach of contract and get a fair bit of money. And the other point was when you mentioned the other day that he already got 2 million and he wants another 12 if he been unfairly dismissed or so he'd end up getting 14. I'm not sure whether that's the way they would calculate it. They would say if you give him a 1-year salary as his full compensation, he's already been given 2, so all you need to give him now is another 10. So
Yeah.
12, but not 14. You understand? They would have to deduct the 2 that they've given already, because you're saying, okay, you paid me off and you sacked me, but I should have really got 1 million per month for 12 months, but you've only given me 2, so you still owe me 10. So I don't think he wouldn't end up with 14. He just got to deduct the 2 they already give him. I just wanted to make that point and clarify that.
No, but it lead up. It lead up. So basically, what you saying? He wouldn't get 14. He might get 12.
Yeah, because if that is the argument, I mean, the reason I say this is I'm basing this on
Because he might have about 13. He may have 13 months left on him contract.
Oh, I thought it was 12 months because I thought it was.
No, it was 13 months on him contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was in December that it started, so it ran out this December, just finished. So
when him gets sacked, Mike. When him gets sacked, I think what would they not? No.
January.
No, man, him get sacked in November.
Okay.
In November, either in November, because we never played a World Cup qualify.
But even saying that, the way in which I've been calculating it is that generally in England they normally give you under the contract. If he was suing under the contract and he's saying I'm suing you for breach of contract, if he had 13 months left, then they would have to pay him out 30. That's what he'd be asking for, 13 months.
Yeah, he want him full. He want a full package.
Full 13 months. So if they've given him 2, take 2 from 13, you still only get to the 11.
11
point.
So that be 11 million. That be 11. You have 11 more million.
That's how I would calculate to say I want 13 months because that's what's left on my contract.
Okay.
So pay me up for the whole 13 months. Well, we've given you 2, sir. So here's another 11.
Okay. Yeah.
In other words, in saying that though, you get 2 lots of money. You get compensation award and basic award. You get a compensation depending on what term is left on your contract, but also you get some statutory basic awards to say this is for your maybe your travels and your losses, not just your loss of earning, but losses you've incurred, and it could add up to a fair bit of money. People do unemployment, unfair dismissal cases and breach of contract cases quite simple by saying that I've spent out the last year since I've been sacked, I've spent 7,000, and I want that back. And I still also had a year left on my contract, and I want that as well. And I want interest as well. And I want injury to my feelings too. Oh yeah. That's how it is in England. You just you don't get it. You sometimes don't get it all, man. You ask for it. Better to ask for more and then you'll get less than to say, well, I'm only going to ask for 2, and then they still only end up giving you half a 2. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it is you, as I told you before, you would be in the same position if you got sacked by your firm. But the other criteria was that you need to be working for a minimum of 2 years before you can claim unfair dismissal. So in Theodore's case, he's been there 5 years, so he meets that threshold. But in other words, if some manager only got a 1-year contract, they can never claim unfair dismissals. Never. Because they haven't been in the job for 2 years, and they never could have been in the job for 2 years. So that's an important criteria. For even in your daytime job or anybody's daytime job, you must be in it for 2 years before you can claim unfair dismissal.
Yeah.
It's a vast subject, man, and it although it involves sports law, it involves employment law.
Mm.
That's the big thing. So you were right the other day. I don't know enough about Jamaican law, but you were right when you say they go to the employment people.
Yeah, because it's going to go to Ministry of Labor or Ministry of
Yeah. So we call it employment, or we can call it labor. When you're at university studying, they call it the subject matter labor law or employment law. So it's the same kind of a body you've got in Jamaica, that they would go there and then they would determine whether or not. Well, firstly, it ends up in England here. It don't end up in like the appeal court or anything like that until it passes through a tribunal. It's a very much lower court, very not so formal, no wigs and things like that. Just very informal. You and your lawyer, and in fact, your next door neighbor. If they know more about the law than you, they could represent you in the tribunal. And you go there, and the judge is a qualified barrister, qualified lawyer, but the person in front of him might just be an ordinary person with limited education. And he brings along somebody that can help him, and the judge will let somebody speak on your behalf if necessary, because you could be. It's very nerve-wracking in court, You can end up shaking so much you forget your own name.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. The employment law people will get involved with this and decide.
Yeah, they will decide it. They will decide it first, because both parties have to win to the meeting. Both parties have to win to the meeting, and then they take it from there.
But it sounds as if this is going to be a big one, and I hope they can put some of these things aside and focus on the game and getting to the World Cup and trying to win. Is it last 6 games left, isn't it? And they got to try and win them.
Yeah.
That's what
we have 1 game left.
Really? I thought it was more than that.
1 game we have left. Not beating Mexico, we can just nobody play the next 5.
Oh, I see what you mean.
That's the mentality I want Paul Hall to have. Yeah. You have 1 game left. Don't talk about 6. You only have 1 game left, and you must get 3 points. We now have 5 or 6 or 7. We have 1 game left. 1. That's all you have to put it into the player. Them so no mistake can't make. No unfield issue can't be a part of the thing. Everything have to spot on. Everything.
That's a good philosophy. One of the other points, is changing the topic slightly from Theodore, is they ought to consider having some kind of academy in the UK where you can recruit young players from Jamaican parentage, and at least try to encourage them. Because, as I say, they all can't play for England. I think it was Ericsson. Ericsson. He was the only man I know to have put out a team that had something like 9 black players in there. But generally, it goes down okay, but it doesn't go down that well all the time. You understand? People love you and show you much love and all of that, but they want to see some blue-eyed and some blonde hairs out there, you know? They don't. So our players got to start thinking more. Sorry, our children that are born here in the diaspora and Canada must start thinking about playing for Jamaica. But Jamaica must open their arms to them and welcome them as their lost cousins, because we can make a change. We really can. I believe so. The training is, yes, the heat and all of that in Jamaica, and the mosquitoes, maybe we're not used to that, but we can bring, when you get on the world stage, there's some serious Jamaican players here. And there is no way on God's planet that they are the same level in Canada or America. No way. It's a different standard in those countries because football is not their main thing. You should know that. You're there. You know, it's not the main thing, football, but they live it here. I have a grandson. He's 7 or 8. You can't get him out of the garden sometimes. But then his father was a footballer. So they just want to do this, you know. And sometimes, you know, they aspire to this because that's how they see a way out. Even if you're doing okay. You know, his father's doing okay, making good money, but it's not always the case that everybody wants to be a doctor or a lawyer. Not always the case.
So,
you know, one thing we have a problem with up here as well, we have no Indian players and Asian players like that. You know, when I say Asian, I mean Indian, Pakistani. I know when you use that term in America and Canada, it's slightly different. But when we use it up here, we mean Indian and Pakistani. There are so many of the offsprings of Indian and Pakistani people in England, but you can't find, you just think about all the clubs you know of in England. They're not there. But they play football.
Is some of them good?
Yes. But what is clever is that they don't. QPR was owned by a man called Metal, and he was like he was in iron and stuff like that. He was a businessman, billionaire. So what you find is the Asian man, the Indian and Pakistani man, they buy the clubs, but they can't get their players playing. I've never seen an Indian player playing for England yet, never. They have a problem keeping black players out. Big problem. Because there's so many. And Jamaica needs to tap into this. Really needs to. Because, and that's the majority. But we don't outnumber the Ghanaian and the Nigerian in terms of numbers. But when it comes to the Caribbean, it's just, there's so many Jamaican footballers coming up from the age of 5 upwards. You'd be amazed. And I think if they set up an academy here, JFA, they should think of it. It would be a good thing. And then bring them over to Jamaica from their young, let them experience that. You know, just a 7 or 10 days, come back, bring some of the Jamaican young players up to England, let them experience it, and let people begin to live because, you know, we are still children of Jamaica, you know. We still are. And people mustn't forget that. But it's a problem we have up here too, brother. It's the same. You know, the amazing, I don't know how you see it in Canada, but when we have people come up from Jamaica, even if they keep the dance, the bashment dance that they would keep is different to a dance that I would go to as a second generation. My parents, then me, then my children, now my children's children, or 4 generations. But we're still so different, you know. We're all Jamaicans, but they don't tend to do the same things. Slightly different, and I think we just need to bridge that gap, keeping it level, especially in the football world. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, we need to just keep it so that everybody gets a chance. I pray and hope. When I hear your show and I hear what's going on with the players, it does concern me a bit. I just hope this they can, but that's been going on for so long now. I hope they
It is going on when your son was playing for Jamaica.
Oh yes, my brother. Believe me, they no different, no different. Listen, it's worse than that. Guyanese against Jamaican, Barbadians against Jamaicans, Jamaicans against Barbadians. You know, there's this inter-rivalry up here, but you can find a family where the father is Jamaican and the mother is from St. Kitts. So there's a lot of intermarriages, different culture. Everybody cooks yam, everybody cooks. Some people call it green finger. I've been quite a few of the Caribbean islands. I've been to Barbados 4 times. Nice place. But then none of it. I've been to Grenada, all of that, St. Lucia. But there is still this division. So you get children who can play for Guyana, Jamaica, England. Not just one, not just 2 countries, but they've got a bit of everything in them, you know?
Yeah.
But it's only when we start working together and getting I totally agree, you know, you can't have the team all British players. That would be ludicrous. That means you're not giving the local players any chance at all. But we need to interchange and work together.
Most definitely, man. You make some valid point. Really appreciate it, especially that last half where you cannot have the team all English-based player. You know, you have to give local play opportunity.
100%, brother. 100. There was a time, isn't it, when it came to the running? I mean, I go back to the days of Ben Johnson, Jamaican, running for Canada. They say he took drugs, but he could. I don't care what they say. The greatest sprint race I've ever seen of all times. I mean, Usain Bolt is amazing, but to me, Ben Johnson is up there with him. Even though they reckon that he took drugs to win it, you know. But he's running for Canada, and you can see that wherever we go, we must do it for the flag. There's a lot of us up here like that, brother. We do it for the flag. And I'm not just talking because I'm a second generation. Right down. As I said, my family, 4 generations now. And they will stand. You know, I took all my family. All 17 of us went to Jamaica in 2017. And my grandkids said, why can't we live in Jamaica? Why we got to live up in England? I took them to the Rio in Ochi. They had the time of their life. I took them to a school. I didn't just keep them locked up indoors. I took them to Ochi Primary, arranged it with the headmistress. And they went in there and spent the day with local Jamaican kids. And they just loved it. And these are youngsters, you know what I mean? The thing is, I don't think people in Jamaica realize the Jamaica brand, how big it is.
The brand big, man.
It's huge. You probably see it there in Canada, huh?
Huge, man. All right. Example. A lot of these others nation don't like Jamaica, but yet still it's something making Italy and they put Jamaican logo on it. What I tell you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I agree with you. We have that plentiful up here.
We country huge, bro. Country huge, bro. People don't understand. It's when most Jamaicans start to travel outside and see how huge Jamaica is. Man, I'm telling you, man. Jamaica huge, man. Everybody want to speak like a Jamaican. Even in my workplace. Wagwan.
Yeah. Well, even the president, Barack Obama, isn't it? When he landed, that's the first thing he said.
Yeah.
First thing he said to the people at the university.
Yeah.
And but I didn't find that when I traveled abroad. They love us in Grenada. Even if they were pretending, I just felt love.
Yeah.
Just want to touch you, want to go to your mother country. Rastas, oh, I saw more Rastas in Barbados than I've ever seen in England. I'm telling you. Because most people don't realize that Selassie went to Barbados too, you know. They think it's only Jamaica he came to, but he went to Barbados, he went to Trinidad as well. Rastas everywhere. And they fly down to Jamaica, they teaching, and then go back to Barbados.
Mm.
The one thing they can't touch us with, the cuisine, the food. No way, Jose. I have not been any of the islands where, and they cook the same thing. Yam, green banana, some people call it green finger, some call it bake, some call it fried dumpling. But when a Jamaican does it, it just blows people's minds, man. I was out there once and I did some rice and peas. And I was walking up in town, Bridgetown in Barbados, looking for a coconut. And I said, what are you going to do with this, man? What are you going to do with that? Yeah? They had me laughing. And so and I cook it on the day and I grated the coconut and I did ackee and saltfish. They said they never, ever dreamed a thing could be done like that. So some countries, they call it peas and rice. They do
Peas and rice.
Yeah, they do the rice separate and the peas separate and then mix it together.
Shelly gungo rice and peas, bro.
So brand Jamaica is huge, man, and we just got to get, everybody's wanting Jamaica Reggae Boyz to get to the World Cup. And when they're there in England, I tell you, don't matter where you're from, everybody unites.
True.
If you're Guyanese, you're wearing a Jamaican flag. If you're Tahitian, you're wearing a Jamaican flag. That's how it was in '98. Everybody support them. I don't think Trinidad got the same reception when they got there. But when Jamaica got there, oh Lord,
Huge.
it was unbelievable. Yes. When they went to Paris to play football, you see people doing jerk. Unbelievable on the streets. Unbelievable. It's just a matter of us to get there, and I pray and hope we do, and I hope we're going to be able to talk again sometime, and I will continue to watch you and see how this thing is progressing, and as and when I hear anything, I'll be on it.
Okay.
And send you, because here we've got it all. Although I'm retired, I've got a lot of time, and I can go to the library and get stuff, and so we can keep on top of it, so you can keep the people informed. Yeah, so I'll definitely, I'm here for you, at your service, sir.
Most definitely, man. And these documents you send, come give me, man. I really appreciate it. When I have the time, I'm going to go over it, to educate my viewers and stuff.
Definitely, my brother. Definitely. It's well worth it, And there's plenty more to come.
Trust me, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Wish you all the best for the New Year's. And
You
stay
too,
healthy and stay safe.
Yes, you and your family as well. And say hi to all Jamaicans there. Everyone, but especially Jamaicans.
Yes. Tennessee yourself, big up yourself, man. You really enjoy listening to you, man. The conversation. You really like
Who was
it.
that?
Tennessee.
Is that somebody that works on your show?
No, he always down in the comment section and stuff and donate to the channel and stuff. So he really
Where's he based?
he's based in the United States.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, sir, and I hope, and I'm sure Ryan and I will discuss things again, and we will take this to another level.
Most definitely, man. Whenever I get some more information and clarity, more things on it, I will definitely let you know what's going on. That you can come back and, you know, when the banding is out there, you know, find you kind of hold back a little bit. But when the information come out as the right way,
that's all I say to you. I've got your back, brother. Just step careful and do the right thing and continue to rise. You don't want any backlash, but be upfront. I like the way that you're upfront and you're first at the line. I get that.
yeah,
But now you've got to set a higher standard and let them see that not only are you first at the line, but you're on point when it comes to the law. And you aren't breaking the law.
yeah.
And you have no intention of breaking the law. But you're going to... You know, one last thing before I go. One of my mentors from Jamaica that used to blow me out, I cried when he died, was Mutty Perkins.
Who?
Mutty Perkins. You never heard of him?
You work on the radio?
Perkins. Yes. Used to work on Power 106. He's a journalist.
Yeah.
And the man went to court about 50 times and never lost a case. He's not a lawyer, period. But that man used to make, oh, I just can't tell you. He was out of this world. I think they nearly gave him a state funeral in Jamaica. I love Jamaicans like that. Ordinary man. You'd call him up and say, there's no water coming up my road, you know, or my little corner. And you say, hang on there. And you call the water board. By tomorrow morning, you got water.
Yeah, you do a very good job over the years on the radio.
And why I mention that is to say that is your standard now, Ryan LFC. Don't fall below that. That's your standard.
Okay, I will keep the standard and keep the thing, keep it going and keep the fire burning and things. So don't lower the standard.
You're great, man. Honestly, you've got a great future. And we're going to talk again, all right? But
all right, most definitely, man. It was a pleasure speaking to you and all the best with you and your family and stuff.
All right, my brother. Thanks to your listener for listening to me.
Okay, you need to watch back this video, okay?
All right, my brother. You take care.
Yeah, enough love and respect. Appreciate it. So here you have it, guys. Someone from the UK come and share a little bit of thought and the Tappa situation and stuff. Give us a little bit of insight. Not inside, should I say. Give up theme thought and stuff. Remember, this is my thought. Don't kill me for my thought and stuff. Tennessee, big up yourself. Webcam, big up yourself. Edwards, big up yourself. Happy New Year's to every single one of you guys. Really appreciate every single one of you guys. So, people, what said you? Someone sent me something on Instagram. I didn't even know this. Reggae Boyz player of the year, Shamal Nicholson. Do you guys believe that was a good one? Shamal Nicholson get Reggae Boyz player of the year. What said you guys? What said you? Big award. I think Shamar. Let me see. Listen. Shamar, young player, doing it in Belgium at the highest level. Andre Blake done well in the MLS. Probably they're looking at it. Shamar doing it at the higher level because the Belgium Pro League is a higher level than the MLS. I don't know. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? But Shamar, Tangats, bro. Sky's the limit when you go to Russia. You know, a big party last night, celebration. Last night? Yeah. Down at Rima, all white party. Bridging, nothing but love and success for you, Shamal Nicholson. So continue with the journey. Keep on working hard. Sky's the limit. Remember, 1 year or 2 year in the Russian Premier League, and you're heading to the England. What else going to be? Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham. Who knows? So where you say get him back on Tennessee. Most definitely, man. Most definitely. You know that he sent me a lot of documents, bro. The man sent me a lot of nearly 23 page about some of the contract in England and stuff. I think when I was going through, I see Jose Mourinho and I see Louis Van Gaal contract. The man take him time out, Tennessee, and forward all of them things in my email. So he want me, especially when I'm speaking about this, I can enlighten the viewers them more in depth. So he might teach me how the contract situation with football player, agent, manager, and all of them stuff there. You know, so I really appreciate that piece of information he gave to me. Although doing this video, I didn't look over it. I just run through one because the time was kind of limited. I'm gonna keep pushing back the show and stuff. So, people, as we say, Shaman Nichols say, what do you guys say, man? What do you guys say? I don't hear. Tennessee, what are your thoughts? Shaman Nichols, Reggae Boyz Player of the Year. Is that well deserved? You know, I would love to hear you guys start. So big up to all of you guys, man. Big up to all of people. Make sure to like the video. Big up to all of the people them, man. Pagan, Coaches Dex, Brown. Big up on yourself. You know, really appreciate it. Bad boy Ryan. No, I'm not a bad boy. I'm a normal guy. Maxwell, big up yourself, pass through. Alex, big up on yourself. Really appreciate it. But people, new serving pass through earlier on. Sebastian, Red, big up yourself. You know, big up the whole team who are support Ryan LFC, man. Smith. Yep. So, I don't know the thing go. Lynch, big up yourself. Away, big up yourself. People, I wasn't going into the comments. I'm looking forward back. So, wow. You always been the first one, bro, to be on the show. Excuse me, bro. And I know what that mean. Tired that mean. I'm tired. Yeah, I need to go to put in some work in the gym. So, big up, man. Big up to all of you guys. I think I supposed to back later on. Yeah, supposed to back sometime later on. So, yeah. I don't know the thing already, people. So, hopefully, we can get every player we wish to get in the upcoming game because one game we have World Cup qualified, Mexico. And you know, Mexico nah do well neither. They're not doing well. Back-to-back defeat, USA, Canada. So, USA not doing too bad neither, but Mexico, man, that team is a very old team, man. Very old team. That Mexico team. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to be back later. So enough love and respect. Make sure you guys get the video to 100 likes, guys, people. Like the video, people. I feel like, watch ya. Where this missing come on my phone? Where this? Man United lose? Jesus Christ. Man, you could have go for the world greatest coach. Them still a get beaten. Oh my goodness. You guys, Man United could have go for the world best coach and them still a get licked. All both them a get licked. Glory, Man United. Oh my God. Man United, man, when they're dead, bro. When they are dead food, Man United. Dead food United lost 1-0. Let me see them starting lineup. Veran, Smart, what Jones? Which? With Jones, you know how long I see that brother, yeah? No, sir. Man United get one love. And guess who at the back? Guess who at the back? Veran. And this guy, you know how long I see that brother, yeah? Oh my God. Man United, me don't know, bro. One Saka come off a injury, Shaw start, Veran. Smalling went to Roma. I think Smalling that Roma. Because every time I see Jones, I see Smalling. Because both of them usually be the two Man United centre back. Yeah. Mason Greenwood, the guy they need to come and play for Jamaica. Cavani. Man United get a hot Bob Marley. What them doing at table? Wow. Man United they sever. It's a possibility that United finish out of the top 6 again, you know, man. Oh, God. I love see that. I love hear that. I love hear Man United down in the dead. So, people, only know the thing of people. So, see you guys later. Make sure you guys like the video. So, peace out, guys. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.
Oh, and them here. This is Boom Boom, aka World Boom, the Billboard selector. And me I represent for